You already know it's your boy DriPPie on the bit right on your bang. If you know the vibes, you like, comment, subscribe, show love, do your best for rating and rush. No stressing about the breath, man. Listen, I ain't gonna waste no time. Make sure y'all tap in, like, comment, subscribe. Y'all see that DriPPie 360 right there on all socials. Google that and then be into it, man. Let's get it. So right now we looking at YNW Melly.
Mr. Henry, I'm not quite sure how to do this, but
Video brought to you by Cuff Boys, you feel what I'm saying? Goated, man. We about to do a series pretty much so y'all can catch, I can catch up. Y'all can catch up with
The following program is rated TV MA. Viewer discretion is advised.
what's up, man. They saying YNW Melly is cooked, man. I missed a lot of this.
The judge is even shocked, like how this guy was facing 5 life sentences.
I guess at some point after the fact, the state wants to take a profit because we will have a discussion with you and ask you some questions about whatever that may be.
I mean, they gotta know that he's gonna testify, right? That's the only way this works. The state wants a proffer. The peace sign at the camera. Bro's like, hey, see you, Melly? You're cooked, but I'm out. YNW Bortlen just took a no contest plea that changes everything for Melly's trial. Today, he has to give the state a proffer. And in Melly's trial, he will testify and be asked, quote unquote, a couple questions. Bortlen just got the greatest plea deal of all time. The state doesn't care about him. They only care about Melly. They didn't want to go to trial separately and show the strategy to Melly's lawyers. I got destroyed over the weekend for saying he was going to take this plea and testify, and that's what's happening. Holy shit, here we go. Will he take the plea? He's got to, right, bro? 16 years. He's got to do it. He's facing 5 life sentences. He's going to do it. I've been thinking about it the whole weekend. He's been thinking about it the whole weekend. He's taking the plea. Look at him.
He thinking about it.
This lawyer's like, you sure? You taking it, right? There's Bortlen's lawyer, Haddad. Why am I getting the vibe that he's taking this plea? Like it's already happening. So they're going to ask him. By the way, the state did not want to go to trial on this week. I don't think they were even prepared to. So they're probably offering him this just because of that, by the way. But they also just only want Melly. They don't give a shit about Bortlen. I just don't see him not taking it. It's too good of a deal.
Is this an episode of Ghost?
Why are they whispering to him? They were just talking to the state. Are we watching plea negotiations? Bro, I think that's what we're watching.
Type shit.
His family's in there. Probably looking at him like that.
They definitely chatting. He not taking no deal. He probably told him he was gonna take a deal, and then he said, "Nah, I ain't gonna take no deal." He just fucked their head up.
Okay, let me go back on the record. This is on the top of my page 5, State versus Courtroom Henry, 19-1871 CF10A and 23-10643 CF10A. So I had set this afternoon the deadline as to whether or not Mr. Henry wanted to accept the state's offer or not.
Let me make sure the volume is up for y'all. You feel me? Give y'all a little volume.
We're set to go with jury selection tomorrow morning. So Mr. Haddad or Mr. Nascimento will go forward with change of plea this afternoon. Yeah. And state, is it the same terms that you discussed previously? Is there anything different?
No, Your Honor, that has changed. Correct.
He's taking it. I fucking knew it, dude.
Yes.
Everyone on TikTok and YouTube were frying me. They were saying he's not going to take it, and the terms have changed. I got called a fed about 50 times for saying he's going to take it, and he's going to snitch. I'm telling you.
So the preforms to me look like on the 19 case as to the 2 counts of accessory after the fact, as well as to all 4 counts in the 23 case.
Oh, Melly
These are gonna be
is so
adjudications.
cooked. If he has to testify at all, Melly is cooked.
All sentences run concurrently with one another. It looks like there's no restitution in the 23 case. In the 19 case, I'm reserving restitution and ordering it payable. That's going to be to Terry Bagley as well as Ashley Phillips.
Yes, sir.
So we now have to-
We've spoken to them, and they don't anticipate there being any restitution.
Okay. Okay, so I'll give you 120 days to tell me the amount.
Sound like there's a misunderstanding already.
Yes, Your Honor. They are present as well, so our attorney has informed them.
Mr. Henry, I'm going to put you under oath, and I'm going to ask you some questions. If I ask you something you don't understand, please let me know. I'll try to ask you a better question, okay? As loud as you can so the court reporter can get down all the answers, okay? Raise your right hand for me. Swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth? You can put your hand down. Please state your full name. How old are you? How far did you go in school? Do you read and understand the English language? Are you presently under the influence of any drugs, medication, or alcohol? Have you ever been treated for a mental illness? Are they giving you any medication in the jail right now? How are you feeling this afternoon? Your head is clear? You understand what's going on this afternoon? You understand you're resolving 2 pending felony cases this afternoon? Right. Mr. Haddad or Mr. Nascimento, have you seen or heard Mr. Henry say or do anything which would call into question in your mind whether you understand what's going on? All right, so Mr. Henry, it's two cases, sir. I'm going to go one at a time. In case number 19-1871 CF10A, this is before the agreement you made with the state, before the deal you made with the state.
Before the deal.
You were charged as follows: counts 1 and 2 in murder in the first degree with a firearm.
Murder in the first degree with a firearm.
The maximum and mandatory penalty is life in Florida State prison. Counts 3 and 4 are accessory after the fact of murder in the first degree. Those are each first degree felonies.
Accessory.
The maximum penalty is 30 years in Florida State prison. In case number 23-10643.
That's
CF10A,
4 cases.
You're charged at count 1, tampering with a witness in a capital felony. That is punishable by life in Florida State prison. Count
That's
2,
5.
directing the activities of a criminal gang. That's a first degree felony. Again, punishable up to life in Florida State prison. Count 5 is conspiracy to commit tampering. Again, as it relates to a first degree murder charge, that is punishable by a maximum penalty of life in Florida State prison.
7.
And count 7, unlawful use of a two-way communication device as charged. That's a second degree felony. The maximum penalty is 15 years in Florida State prison. So, sir, again, before the agreement you made with the state, your maximum exposure here was life in Florida State prison, followed by 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 75 years in Florida State prison. Sir, do you understand all the pending charges and the maximum possible penalties involved? And it's my understanding that you want to resolve both cases today. Is that correct? Yes. And that resolution is an agreement you've reached with the state, the terms of which are as follows. Number 1, in the 19 case, you're going to plead no contest to both counts of accessory after the fact. In the 23 case, you're going to plead no contest to all 4 counts as charged. In exchange for that, the state is going to null process, that is, drop the 2 first-degree murder counts.
When does that ever happen?
That's crazy. That's a crazy ass plea deal. That's a crazy ass plea deal. They said he's gonna plead guilty. He's gonna plead guilty. He's gonna hold on.
In the 23 case, you're going to plead no contest to all 4 counts as charged. In exchange for that, the state is going to null process, that is, drop the 2 first-degree murder counts.
When does that ever happen? They don't care about this.
He's gonna drop the 2 first-degree murder charges, and so accessory and the tampering is still gonna be there apparently.
This guy, they want Melly. You're gonna have him testify, bro. This makes no sense. And they didn't want to go to trial. They weren't ready to go to trial this week. That's what's happening. They also didn't want his trial to happen before Melly's. They'd have to show a lot of the same evidence about the murder, how they would strategize it for Melly, so then Melly's lawyers would see it.
So, Mr. Henry, what it's going to be is 2 counts of accessory after the fact, tampering with a witness in a capital felony, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. In exchange for that, I'm going to adjudicate you guilty on the 2 accessory counts as well as.
Hold on. If he pleads guilty, though, then that's going to definitely defamate Melly, because there's things that he's admitting to.
In exchange, tampering with
there's things that he's admitting to that make fill in the story of Melly being at the murder scene and him being an accessory to these crimes.
They'd have to show a lot of the same evidence about the murder, how they would strategize it for Melly, so then Melly's lawyers would see it.
So, Mr. Henry, what it's going to be is 2 counts of accessory after the fact, tampering with a witness in a capital felony, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. In exchange for that, I'm going to adjudicate you guilty on the 2 accessory counts as well as the tampering count. I'm going to sentence you to 10 years in Florida State prison. That will be followed by 6 years of reporting probation. In the unlawful use of a two-way communication device, that's a 2nd degree felony. The maximum exposure. It's the 2nd as charged, I believe. It's a 3rd, except as it relates to a capital case. But I'm happy to look it up. Well, what did you want the negotiated sentence to be?
He got down to 10 years. He has at least 2 years credit time served. And I'm pretty sure you do like 85% of your sentence in Florida. That's what I've seen.
Hold on, there's a misunderstanding. There's a misunderstanding, boss.
Like 6 years, 6.5 years.
All right, so sir, as to that count, it's going to be adjudication of 5 years in Florida State prison. So
5 years.
Accessory counts as well as the temporary count, those come with 6 years of reporting probation after the Department of Corrections sentence. I'll give you credit for all the time that you've served in both cases. All of those counts will run concurrently. All those sentences will run concurrently. All counts in all cases, that is at the same time with each other. I'm going to have to impose mandatory court costs payable to Terry Bagley and payable to Ashley Phillips and reservists the amount. I'm going to give the state 120 days to tell me the amount of that restitution. If they fail to do so within 120 days, there will be no restitution. If they come back with an amount and the attorneys agree on the amount, I will impose that as another condition of your sentence to pay back that restitution. If they come back with an amount and the attorneys do not agree on the amount, I will conduct a restitution hearing. Right. Sir, lastly, and I want to make it very clear on the record, and it's unrelated to this negotiated change of plea, I guess at some point after the fact, The state wants to take a proffer from you or have a discussion with you, ask you some questions about whatever that may be. What I want you to understand, sir, is I guess that's part of this negotiated resolution, but your answers to any of those questions, whatever they might be, have no bearing on me and have no bearing on this negotiated resolution. In other words, the deal you negotiated is the deal you negotiated, and that's the ballgame.
Melly is fried.
And that's the
Melly
ballgame.
is so cooked. He's so cooked.
Understand all that, sir? Have you had enough time to talk to your lawyers about all that? They've answered all your
Sorry,
questions? You're sure that that's what you want to do? Because I want to emphasize, Mr. Henry, and I'm going to do this again at the end of my plea colloquy, whether you resolve the case by way of a negotiated plea or an open plea to me, or you resolve the case by way of a trial, it doesn't matter to me at all. But due to the resources that have been devoted to this case, I have 250 jurors summoned for jury duty starting tomorrow. So I want to be very thorough with you here this afternoon, because if you wake up tomorrow or the next day and you decide you've changed your mind and you want to resolve this case, both cases, by way of a jury trial, that's not going to happen. All right? If you want to have a trial, the trial starts tomorrow. If you want to accept the deal, you can accept the deal today. But there's not going to be any buyer's remorse, in other words, because I've given you plenty of time to think about this, talk to your lawyers about it, talk to your family about it.
So he's giving them 24 hours?
Last week, kind of looks like your lawyers probably did something or other.
24 hours and it's a green light.
This afternoon.
Yeah, because the state doesn't want to go to trial. They want Melly. They didn't want to show their strategy. That's how this fucker just got 10 years from 5 life sentences.
So understanding all that, you've had enough time to talk to your lawyers about all that. That's what you want to do. So, sir, has anyone forced you, threatened you, or coerced you into entering this plea? If I accept your pleas, there will not be a trial in either one of these cases. Do you understand that? If I accept these pleas, there's a whole bunch of constitutional rights you are giving up. I want to make sure you understand all of those rights. You have the right to maintain your plea of not guilty and have a trial in each case. You have the right to present defenses, to file motions and other pleadings in support of your defense. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to have the state prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
The judge is on point, man.
Examine the witnesses against you. You have the right to appeal any decisions that I may have made up to this point, or any rulings I might make in a future trial. By entering this negotiated resolution today, you are giving up all of those rights. The matter is going to be resolved today, right now, this afternoon. Is that what you want to do? Are you satisfied with your lawyers? Have you had enough time to speak with them? Have they answered all your questions? Are you satisfied with all the work that they have done for you? Sir, I've got 2 identical plea forms here entitled Plea of Guilty or No Contest to Criminal Charges in Circuit Court. Each one has your name on the top, your initials on the left-hand side, front and back, and your signature on the back. Did you go over both of these forms? Any questions about what's on these forms? And is that your signature on the back of each form? Sir, paragraph 11 of each form that you signed reads as follows. I acknowledge that my attorney and I have reviewed any discovery disclosed by the state. My attorney and I are unaware of any physical evidence for which DNA may exonerate me. In other words, sir, if there's any physical evidence in the case that we could test for DNA, that DNA evidence would not tell me that you were not one of the people in that vehicle when these crimes occurred. But actually the opposite would be true. If there was any such physical evidence that could be tested for DNA, that DNA evidence would tell me that you were one of the 2 people that was inside this vehicle when these crimes occurred. Sir, do you agree with that statement? State, do you agree with that statement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, do you agree with that statement? Mr. Henry, understanding everything that I have talked to you about up to this point, do you still want to go ahead and resolve both cases today, right now? Defense, is he stipulating to a factual basis for the purpose of each plea in both cases?
Yes.
And if he's entitled to a PSI, defense, are you going to waive that as to each case?
Absolutely.
State, is there anything else that you need me to do before I take this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Mr. Henry, again, 2 cases. We're going to do one at a time. In case number 19, 1871 CF10A, as to count.
There's Melly's family. I mean, they got to know that he's going to testify, right? That's the only way this works. The state wants a proffer.
3, accessory after the fact to murder in the first degree. And as
So
to
this is
count
the
4,
YNW
accessory
Melly
after the
case?
fact as to murder in the first degree. How are you going to plead, sir? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? In case number 23, 10643 CF10A, as to count 1, tampering with a witness in a capital felony, and count 7, unlawful use of a 2-way communication device. How are you going to plead, sir? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? I will accept
Basically,
pleas as to each.
one of his partners basically is taking a plea deal right now, and it's looking like he's going to be testifying against Melly.
Further find that you have freely, voluntarily, and intelligently waived your rights, that you have knowingly entered each plea with the advice of competent counsel, who you've told me that you are satisfied with, that you understand the nature of the charges and the consequences of the plea.
I may have been, though.
Pursuant to the negotiated agreement, I will send it to you as follows. In case number 19, 1871 CF10A,
Let me hear this. Let me hear this.
Count 3 and count 4. I will adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 10 years in Florida State Prison. That
10
will be followed
years.
by 6 years of reporting probation.
And
I will impose
probation.
mandatory court costs. Pursuant to 943.325, I will
Type
need some of
shit.
your prints and DNA. Pursuant to 938.27, I will impose a cost
Woo.
of prosecution of $100. Sir, I'm also ordering restitution in that case payable to Terry, Terri Bagley, Bagley, and Ashley, Ashley Phillips, Phillips, and reserving as to the amount. I'm going to give the state 120 days to tell me the amount of the restitution. If they fail to do so within 120 days, there will be no restitution.
They already basically explained everything.
Agree on the amount.
I don't think he understands what restitution is. He just looked around confused. You got to pay some victims' families, brother.
All of these sentences, all counts, both cases, will run concurrently. That is at the same time with each other. I will give you credit for all the time that you have served.
All the time served? He's been in jail for a long time, bro.
I'm looking at the plea forms. The 23 case, they have 707 days credit for time served. In the 19 case, 1,348 credit for time served.
He has 5 years credit time served. He got bail
I
at
told
one
him.
point, so I wasn't sure how long he was out.
He's told him he only gonna get 5 years.
It's a 5 year sentence.
I knew it. I thought I ain't missed that.
85% of it. He's gonna be out in 3.5 years.
Oh,
the
3
state
with
does not
the
give a fuck
yeah.
with this guy, bro. They only want Melly. This is insane.
All right, Mr. Henry, I'm not quite sure how your lawyers managed to do this, but
Not sure how your lawyers managed to do this because the state is fucking crooked, bro. They only want Melly. This is insane. The judge is even shocked. Like, how the fuck this guy was facing 5 life sentences? The deal of a lifetime. He's looking for family. This is insane.
Pop in there. Nigga tweet. Did he have veneers or some shit?
Is he looking at Melly's family? The peace sign at the camera. Bro's like, hey, see you, Melly. You're cooked, but I'm out. I'm out in fucking 2 years.
Nah.
Over.
It looked like they like they were shining, right?
All right, more information. Bryson Ben Paul, shout out him. Haddad spoke to the media after this. Feel good for the kid. I've been on this case 6 years. It's a fair resolution for him. The state was fair. Yeah, more than fair, brother. He gets 1,000 days and the other one he gets 700 days. On the message this sets for Melly, there's no message that I see. There are 2 different people, 2 different cases. Facts are different for both. Bottom line is Bo testified on what Bortlen have to do, and will he have to testify against Melly? A couple questions, that's it. He's not going to be a witness. Oh, this is worse than what Gunna did. This is way worse. They're trying to say it's a no contest plea. He's not admitting guilt. He's going to have to give a statement and testify. This is way worse. I think it's important to know that 1, today you did not plead guilty. He pled no contest, and so he hasn't really admitted anything. And there's no anticipation that he's going to be called. The state knows what their strengths were and what our strengths were, and that's how you resolve it. I've got the same thing going on in other places. You know, we resolve cases before trial. Sometimes it's a very favorable outcome. I prefer it to be in trial, but what are you going to do? There's some things you can't turn down. The state said, we're going to drop 2 counts of first-degree murder if you want to resolve it. People have to do jail time, but the alternative is very difficult. He could be out at 30, 31 years old. Just a few questions on the stand. And this state's getting a proffer today. Melly is so beyond cooked. Hit subscribe. Love you guys. Peace out.
Let's see. So hear me out, chat, right? Cuff boys. He knows most of the time he knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's talking about most of the time. He studies a lot of this shit. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go with him if anything. You feel what I'm saying? Likely this is not the first time for something like this to happen, and more than likely, you look at them chances, he just might testify. There's a couple of things that they admitted in the guilty counts where they had him looking as if it was accessory. That's why the time was able to come down. However, if you're admitting and pleading guilty to accessory, that means that you had to at least have some, you pleaded guilty first off. Second off, you had to have at least some kind of association to be doing something. So there's going to be that alone is going to say, okay, anything that this person says, he's an accessory to the crime, and he's basically a witness. You know what I'm saying? He's basically a witness to the crime because he was there firsthand. Like, he had the popcorn in the hand and he was eating, and he was at the scene while it was being shot. Director's cut. You feel what I'm saying? Extras. You know what I mean? He's BTS. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not doing no time for nobody anyway. Soon as we all get hemmed up, I'm getting off scot-free. You a rat. It's not doing time for nobody. It's understanding where you at. And that's understanding what role you play in the crime that's about to transpire. You feel what I'm saying? Now, you as a man, if you didn't take the responsibility to, or, well, you're not a man, you're a lady, but this is me as a man. If I didn't take the responsibilities to, like, be responsible and anticipate what the consequences would be, and the consequences happen, that's more than likely my fault. You feel what I'm saying? I can't blame nobody. As a man, I can't blame anybody else. You get what I'm saying? I have to just deal with the consequences. That's just how I feel like a man should handle shit. Now, a man should also feel like he is responsible for himself, that he's accountable for himself and not everybody else. You know what I'm saying? If I'm in a car with my boy and my boy catch a body and he leaves with me, understanding that I know he caught a body, then then it's going to be an issue. You know what I'm saying? Maybe me not knowing, and they might throw a conspiracy in there and all that. It's gonna sound about right, and that's something I would want to fight. You know what I'm saying? Because they can't prove that I didn't know, unless the prosecution can't prove that I didn't know. They're gonna prove that I did. They're gonna try to prove that I did know, that I was really an accessory. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna try to do anything they can to make that a thing. It's up to my defense, and it's up to me to prove that it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Now, it sucks that while that's going on, sometimes you don't even get a plea. You don't even get a bond sometimes. So basically, your freedom is being taken away. Plus, all that time that you're already dealing with, they're already taking away your time. You feel what I'm saying? And your energy. When I work up the thing is, you already looking to work up a deal. When you working up a deal, you know that means that you're admitting to pleading guilty, which again, when you plead guilty, that means that you still had some kind of association with the crime. You feel what I'm saying? Just because you don't do the time, that don't mean you didn't do the crime. They just probably cooking something up to really work something else in their benefit. And that's what's pretty much going on here. To the public. Yeah, to the public, it's like, it ain't fuck the public. It ain't even about the public. Like, that's something that you deal with after. You feel what I'm saying? That's the consequences. You know what I'm saying? But like, when you talk about doing time, to the public is more so to the jury. If they understand, okay, you pled guilty, meaning you accepted that you had some kind of association with this. Because if you fought and if you pled not guilty, then it's like, okay, knowing everything that's at risk right now, and you're pleading not guilty, you're more likely to be, you're more likely to like be understood or heard. It's not really admission of guilt if I knew something but I didn't commit it. See, but you know something, and then you back at conspiracy. You're damn near back at conspiracy. But some laws, like for example, some laws, right? And I'm not gonna hold this on for too long. That's why they doing no contest. What they should have did is what they did for Kelsey and Megan trial. She had a blanket immunity. Immunity would have been, immunity is like, immunity is always the ideal deal. But like, when you're talking about immunity, that's because you're completely innocent. You know what I'm saying? The defense is not even trying to come at you. And that's my point. You feel me? If you're going to do a deal and it's immunity, it's like, okay, the prosecution probably fucked up and they want to make things right. So, we're going to give you immunity, but you got to help us make things right type shit. You feel what I'm saying? Now, what that also means is full cooperation. You know what I'm saying? You basically switching sides, but it's still immunity. You help where you can. You do what you need to do. All right, cool. You know what I'm saying? Pleading guilty and still doing time for certain crimes, just because it's a good deal, does not mean it's innocent. And, he going to do his 10 years, and he going to plead where he feel like he is necessary to plead. But he got the conspiracy charge still there, which is not going to help Melly. Because now it's going to be like, okay, so Melly did do some shit. If he's admitting to conspiring to do something, Melly probably did do something, or at least is conspiring to do something, which damn near means after that happened, if you're conspiring to do something and you're damn near that close to doing it and something else happened, you're more than likely going to be found guilty. More than likely. And I say more than likely because Shit, that nigga's still doing the time for something and he's saying that he's pleading not guilty for.